recording is to support you in our new website and the location where all of our information for our vendorization is held. So I'm going to go through our website, show you where to find documentation so that you are prepared and you can locate the information needed when submitting your application through the provider directory. So as you'll see here, we're on our homepage here at Alta California Regional Center. So the easiest way to find our Become a Service Provider page is to hit the menu button here. Go down to on Service Providers, Become a Service Provider. So on this page, there's going to be a lot of information. The first part is just really outlining the service provider directory and the requirement to come into compliance with that we started January 1st, but the requirement from the department was March 1st. So you'll find a lot of information about what is vendorization. They give you a definition there. Application information, how to prepare and who can apply and cannot apply. This is information that the department wanted us to put on there. So additionally, who can use vendor providers, and then we have our timeline here of what the vendorization process looks like and the steps for that. If you scroll down a little bit more, our regional center is working on developing this section here to talk about what services are needed in what catchment area. So we're still working on developing that, but when we have that information, that will be built in this section. And then again, do you need help? So this is contact information that the department has provided. There's the department how to become a vendor webpage. It gives you information, and there's also our vendorization Alta Regional contact email that you can reach out to for questions. But if you go to this one, they'll provide you with some Q&As, some videos, some how-tos, and also Q&A. I believe it's a manual, and then also the link for that. Excuse me. Down here, we'll talk about, you can click on this one. It's going to really tell you the expectation that you, as you go through the process in each phase. So we have our requirements phase, our submission phase, and our decision phase. And this is really going to break down what the expectation is for you from the regional center, and then also from us to you, making sure that you are monitoring your portal, you are responding to emails, to the comments and all of that to make sure the process is successful. Down here, it just talks about the importance of submitting complete and accurate information. There's some details there. We are on a very shortened timeline, so we want to make sure that everything is accurate and up to date and all documentation is needed. So that's kind of where we go down to. This is going to be really your key support in determining what service type, what is requested, what is required, and also some templates that are needed. So the service code breakdown, we're going to select that option. And I'm going to open up that Excel. So right here, you will see every service code that is identified. You'll also see the service code here, the name of that service, the description per per DDS, Title 17 regulations. Every service requires an submission, has a submission checklist, and we'll go over that. And almost all services have a program design template per Title 17 regulations based on what is needed for that service. And then in this column as well, you'll have all of our trainings. So I will use an example. So you'll see down here, we'll just keep going. Every service code has the same thing. If it's grayed out like this, that means that the department has identified that that service is no longer being utilized, and 055 is an example. But for review's sake, I wanted to go down to, pardon my scroll, I wanted to go down to ILS because it's a perfect example. So here, the department has given the description. We have outlined the Title 17 qualifications for that. That's really to support you to make sure before you go through all of the steps that you can ensure that you do qualify based on that requirement. The next thing you will want to do is look and determine what submission checklist you will need to use. This helps you and this guides you. Every document that's on this checklist needs to be submitted when you submit your application, or we will need to close that request and have you regather anything that's missing. So in here, we've identified that this adult service is the checklist we need. So if you click on this, it's going to take you to the checklist page. So now you will see all the checklists here, and every checklist has these two identifying documents. So the conflict of interest and the DS 1891. These need to be filled out, and you'll notice they're noted on all of these, but we put them here for your reference. Just a side note, if you have a corporation, every board member will need to complete both of these. We'll need to have them listed on the DS 1891, and they will have to complete a conflict of interest. It's laid out based on organizational type, so partnerships, sole proprietors, whoever is identified needs to be on the DS 1891 and also have a conflict of interest. But for the review that we were talking about here, which we've identified that we need the adult services checklist, I'm going to, since I clicked there, you'll see right here, I'm going to select the adult services checklist. So this says, please be sure to gather all documentation prior to submitting your letter of interest to the provider directory. And this outlines the 7 items that are needed when you submit. So we have our current applicant resume, any current resume for partners, board members, organizational chart, a program design that's approved, and I'll show you where to find that for this service, organization type, a conflict of interest, and DS 1891 based on that organizational type that I showed you. So once those are all done, this does not need to be submitted with it. This is just for your reference to make sure that all of these things are completed. I go back to the checklist, and you'll see that's where I was. I have a program design. So every service is required to have their first draft of their program design submitted upon completion of the application. So this column right here, this PD, program design template, is where you're going to find all the templates. So based on this, we know that we are looking for the independent living service template. So I'm going to select this column. And it's going to take us to every program design template that we have. So based on the breakdown, I know that I need to look for the independent living skills program design. So I'm going to select that, and you will see right here the cover page that lays out all of the requirements, the page max, and we give a very detailed, very thorough template for you to follow so that you can complete all that's required. So that's how you will find the program design for every service code. Again, we'll go over to the required trainings. If you notice in the checklist, we do not require the trainings right off the bat, but we do provide it for you so you know that you can work on it at your own time. You can submit them, all of them, with the application with all of these documents, but it is not required. But you will go over to this column, which is training, and it's going to identify all the trainings that are required for you for that service code. So if I click these, it's going to take us to our vendor learning management, our LMS training hyperlinks. So here you'll find the how to register for our LMS and also how to download the certificates. Every training has a certificate that you will download and you will upload into the provider directory. So based on this service, I know I have to do vendor orientation day 1, accounting orientation, SIR, and mandated reporting. So you will click on these and that will take you directly to that. First, you will have to register. After that, everything's tied to your email and you can download certifications to upload as you go through. So I encourage you all to, before submitting, please make sure you go through this, identify the type of service you want, identify what is needed, the template and the training, so that your application can be moved through quickly. We are only given 15 calendar days to review, and that is why all this documentation has to be submitted with the application. I hope this was helpful. I can go back to our web page here. Once again, menu, become a service provider. And this is all the information that I went over briefly. Scroll down, you'll see the service code breakdown. Again, underneath the service code breakdown, we do have all the checklists here and those 2 documents, so you can reference those as well if you don't, if clicking in the Excel sheet is not working, it should be, but there it is right there. Also, all of our LMS links, and then our service provider resources. That is where all of the program designs are. So as always, if you have any questions, please reach out to vendorization@altaregional.org. And again, my name is Michelle Duchesne. Thank you.